Whilst abroad, accommodation costs can be your number one expense, and it may be difficult to cut your spending. However, here are some clever ways that we use to reduce our own accommodation costs. This video will cover a lot of different types of accommodation costs, ranging on average from the most expensive to the cheapest, with a few quirky ideas thrown in for good measure. You've probably seen those price comparison website adverts, however we find they don't actually cut costs too much since hotels and resorts are quite expensive to begin with. I mean, sure, Trivago or Booking.com may be able to save you some money, but they're not actually the cheapest option. Now next up we have Airbnb, which is probably one of our most favourite sites. This is because they offer a lot more versatility and price range than just hotels, and on average for a similar room, we found that they're around 20% cheaper than a hotel equivalent. If you are new to Airbnb, then there is a discount code in the description below for you to use, but if you're currently thinking, well, I know all these sites, this is nothing new to me, then stay tuned because here are some more coming right up. Hostel dorms are a good and cheap option if you don't mind being sociable and sharing room with complete strangers. That's a good advert for hostels there. Now we haven't actually ever used hostels since their private rooms are quite expensive and we didn't really want to use a dorm, but you know, everyone has their preferences, so it might be a good option for you. If you enjoy the outdoors and just happen to have a tent on you, then camping outside may be another option for you. There are millions of campsites worldwide where it costs under £10 a night for a campsite, and there are many more which are just completely free for you to use. Just make sure you bring a warm jumper along. A quirky alternative to camping could be campervan relocation. This involves you driving either a car, a campervan, or anything like an RV from one location to another in a set time period. For example, you may be asked to drive from Chicago to Salt Lake City within the space of 14 days. Sometimes you will need to pay a fee for this, but on the other hand you can pick up these deals sometimes for just $1, and they even include your fuel costs for you. Also, within this time, you can also go and explore other places, drive around a lot, you have your own transportation as well, so it really is a win-win situation if you manage to pick up a good deal. Couchsurfing is a completely free way to go and stay with the locals for a couple of days, enjoy some good food and stories with each other, and also get shown around the city. We've tried to couchsurf before, however, the couchsurfing community can get very busy at times, and since we applied on such short notice in a very busy season, we couldn't actually get into it. Now, if you are planning on doing it, I by all means go and give it a go, and we've heard many positive experiences from this. Just make sure that you do it reasonably well in advance. If you love pets and wouldn't mind looking after them for a while, then house sitting might be a great alternative for you. We personally did this a lot in our travels and it was a great experience that we had. You will have to pay a membership fee for their websites and you might have to help out with bills and such if you're staying longer than 2 months. However, this is all explained in our house sitting video, so click here if you are interested in that. Some alternate accommodation ideas that you could use are you could either buy a bus or an overnight train. Buy one. Just buy it all. It's all yours. You could either buy a ticket for an overnight bus or train. We've used this quite a few times and it is a good way to save on one night's accommodation. If you've got an early morning flight the next day, instead of booking a half-night accommodation at an expensive place near an airport, which will make it more expensive, then you could just rock up to the airport the night before and have a kip in the airport. Just make sure that you have your boarding pass on you in case anyone asks. Now, if you are planning to do this, like we have quite a few times, then there is a great site that we've used called sleepinginairport.net, which is linked in the description below, which has great reviews and descriptions and everything else. So it's a great thing. Go and check it out. And finally, if you're actually planning to stay in a place for a while, then you could consider the possibility of investing into a vehicle and sleeping in that. A car, a van, a camper van, an RV, whatever you like. Basically, all you have to do is buy one when you get there and resell it before you leave. This effectively means that you can spend very little per night. We did this while we were traveling New Zealand, and effectively after the resale and repair costs, we broke even, which meant that we spent $0 on our accommodation. Have you got any alternate accommodation ideas that you have used personally or are thinking of using? If you do, let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date. Subscribe for more videos to come in the future, and we'll see you next time.